Yes. Okay, let's update for update error updated broadcasts. We need to update to round 6, right guys? We need to update. So just a minute. We'll be starting any minute. Round 6. That's better. So today round 6, and we have brand new leaders. Gummi Kjartansson and Henrik Danielsson jumped into first place, while Hannes Stefansson lost his lead after he lost to here Steingrímsson. So let's have a look at the games in order and let's catch up to what has been going on. We're going to start with Guðmundur Kjartansson with white. He opened with pawn to c4 against Einar Hjalti, whose main weapon has been the Slav, so nothing too surprising here. But d4, d5, Gummi took on d5, which is the extinct Slav. And well, most of the time people play it when they want to draw, but some people play it when they want to really squeeze out the win, and Gummi's confidence in that department is sky high after 2 recent wins against grandmasters in endgames, long endgames. So we have bishop 4, knight c6. Running, no comments. Is there anybody out there? Come on. So okay, knight c6. What happened? e3. Yeah, knight c3. Bishop to f5. So quite symmetrical, but white breaks the symmetry here with queen b3. And yeah, note that if white had gone, let's say knight f3, then he has the option of meeting queen b6 with a3. No, I can't. Okay, there's a c2 square. I thought I would trap the queen, but it can go to c2. But it's a well-known pattern. If the bishop was not here, then you can trap the queen like this. But queen b3, knight a5, attacking the queen, protecting b7, queen f4 check, bishop back to d7, queen went to c2, rook to c8. Black tries to quickly develop his queen side. Bishop d3, e6, knight f3, b5, now with the threat of pawn to b4. So a3, queen b6, knight e5, bishop to e7. This is all rather quiet, and the last moves in this game were h6, and now knight takes d7 was just played. So, oh wait a minute. Yeah, white has gained the bishop here, and it's not possible to take here due to the pin. on the queen. But on the other hand, oh, hang on a minute. There's a sneaky tactic here. There is a sneaky tactic. If knight takes d7, knight takes d5, rook on c8 will be undefended. Oh my goodness! So we jumped straight into some developments here. And of course, if we take, we just lose immediately. Take here, we take, and the rook is attacked. And yeah, well, okay, we actually take on b2, but okay. So I thought this was winning a pawn, but the rook takes b2, and black is alive. But having said that, the position has opened up, and white is in the possession of the bishop pair. So here you might think about moves such as rook c1, possibly. But maybe this isn't super great for white. I don't know. Maybe rook b1 also takes, a6, a4, something like this. Now I can play b4 because a6 hangs and takes. This looks dangerous, unleashing the bishops. Jack here to win the pawn, but on the other hand, now black has a passed a pawn, so maybe this isn't anything great for white. So okay, this looks interesting, but okay, not as bad as I thought at first sight, because we can regain the pawn by taking on c2. Yeah, we have to take on d7. Yeah, possibly knight c8. Yeah, knight c8 might be a move actually. Hitting the a7 pawn. We could think about knight d6, getting the bishop pair against the knights, or just taking on e7. So I think they should give white the better game. So Einar is still thinking after knight takes d7. So let's catch up to some of the other games. We'll come back to this one, of course. So Hans against Þröstur. And they played together probably 100 games. No, I'm just kidding. They played each other a lot. Lots of draws, but usually, this is the one winning, I think. But let's see for this one. Stefans really needs to win to get back into the battle for top place. But let's see. First he goes for d takes c4, Queen's Gambit accepted. The opening he played yesterday, but there he was on the white side. But he's very experienced in the Queen's Gambit. Accepted. d5, bt, knight takes d5, knight e7, bishop takes c4, knight takes d5. Yeah, I'm not familiar with this particular variation. Right now, white is threatening to take on f7. Bishop e7 takes care of that problem. Knight e2. Development. Castles. Knight a6. Yeah, I guess he wants to challenge the bishop. Probably here. Maybe even here. More likely on b4. Bishop f4. queen b6. Yeah, I probably put the knight on a6. Okay, you don't want to put it on c6 because well, you think about taking and the pawn structure is quite bad. And if you put it on d7, you have to move it again. d7 is an option though, and then put it on f6. But I didn't want to spend a move developing this bishop. But now bishop f4, queen b6. We want to attack this pawn so we can develop the bishop. Bishop e5. Bishop f6. Takes, takes. Knight c3. Protecting the b2 pawn, and now b7 has to be protected so we can develop the bishop. So first to play rook b8. That's the position as it stands now, and should be around equal. Slightly better for white. I mean, he has finished development, and yeah, potentially his pawn majority on the king side could be more significant if he wants to get aggressive with f4 and e5 at some point. But nothing too serious. Einar is still thinking in the other game after knight takes d7. So he might even be, if he's afraid of this knight takes d5 idea, go back to that game. If he's afraid of the knight takes d5 idea, he might actually take the king. It's not entirely out of the question. That's not out of the question. Still hasn't moved, so let's catch up with some other games. Now the very important game. Very important. Danielson against Stengrimsson. So Stengrimsson just won against Stefansson yesterday, so if he wants to make up for his slow start, he has to win again. Meanwhile, Henrik is at the top, and he would like to stay there, so at least a draw for him, but winning would of course be awesome. Awesome! Knight f3, c5, c4, and knight f3 is, I mean, you could start c4, but if you start knight f3, maybe you cut out some lines that you don't have to worry about, like c4 on the first move, there's maybe e5. But if you want to play the English and you don't like this, then you can start with knight f3. So it's more like a move order consideration. Knight c6, knight c3, e5 immediately. So black right away reveals his hand here with e5. He's going to play the botanic system. Knight g e7, d3, d6, a3. Castles. Yeah, and one thing to consider for black on these lines, you don't play a5 until white has played rook b1, as happened here. So that's a small nuance, and without it, white can maybe skip the move, play queen a4, bishop to the other rook to b1. Always like the game that Yasuhiro played in that line. Bishop g5, a standard move here. And the idea is, well, to gain control over d5 square, and after f6, we go back to e3. And why do we do that? Well, a little bit to soften the light squares a little bit more, and also it looks like black can win more time here, but actually let me just go back. and the knight isn't particularly well positioned here. It's in the way of the f-pawn. We have a d5 square, and then quite often the bishop is put on d2, so it doesn't really matter. And one of the ideas of putting it on e3 is also to prevent d5, because now this guy is attacked. And if black actually goes f5 now, we maybe go back to g5 even. 8-6. Okay. This shows that he wants to play f5 and not allow bishop g5 again. 91. f5. Interesting. Usually this knight maneuver is made to put the knight on d5. But here, knight g2, a4, bishop d2, f4. And now black is stopping the knight from coming to e3. Wants to go d5. But for this he has also weakened the diagonal and the e4 square. So we're going to have a battle between black's kingside pawn storm and, well, white's control over the light squares in the center and possible pressure on the queen side. Rook takes b3, g5. Pawn to e3. Trying to break up these pawns a little bit, but that's also hard to do. Oh, king h8. Black just wants to get the king out of any potential checks on his diagonal, and maybe in the future we can think about putting the rook on the g file. Queen h5. Rook a7. This means he wants to move this bishop, so he's protecting the pawn. Knight e4. Now knight f5. And rook f to b1. Aha! So again, preventing the bishop from developing. Yeah, this is a rather quiet maneuvering game, but yeah, but there's always underlying tension here. After rook f1, actually played king back to g8. Yeah, which seems to suggest that perhaps king h8 was not the best move in the history of chess. So probably wants to change his mind and try to play rook f7 or something. I don't know. Looks weird. Weird. So black is losing a lot of time, and meanwhile white is rather well set up. The pawns on the king side have been stopped in their tracks. I mean, there's no pawns for black. There's nothing coming here. White seems to have good control. I mean, control of d4. That is covering the a3 pawn. We have pressure on b7. So white seems to have good control, but is there a way forward? That's the question. Yeah, we'll see. The developments in this game are pretty far ahead. Einar is still thinking against Gummi after knight takes d7. So that signals that something is wrong if you don't recapture immediately with a natural recapture like knight takes d7. And also, in the odd case that Gummi hadn't seen knight takes d5, he definitely will now if Einar thinks this long. But of course he's seen it, and now Gummi has half an hour. Has a half an hour time match. Agol. Gummi Gisla is playing against Hjörvar. What? Did I blast? Port 1, port 2, port 3. I didn't do it. I know what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna copy game. Copy game. So we don't mess up the order. Paste the game. Well done. And this one we will do over. So for Gummi against Hjörvar. Gisla. And Hjörvar coming off of 2 consecutive losses. E4, D6. We have the Sicilian here. But the white goes for the quiet G3. And yeah, he's gonna set up the King's Indian attack. Bishop D7. Castles, knight C6. And actually happy birthday to Hjörvar, I believe. It's his birthday, so he's turning 21. So yeah, C3 and E5. So also black sets up the bottom system. It's especially solid here. And here we're playing against white's idea of going D4. Blocking that idea completely with the pawn to E5. D3, knight G to E7. Knight B D2. And here it's a better version than in Danielson's Dinghamson. Knight C4, H6. H6 we play so that we can play bishop E6 without knight E5. A4, bishop E6. Queen E2. Okay, some people might think, okay, we can give white double pawns here, but on the other hand, we have given up an open D file, a half open D file to attack a pawn, and we've given up control of the light squares, which can be used for white here, the D5 square. We could swing this knight around. Boom, shakalaka. Jump into D5 at some point. So I don't think strategically that's an option. Queen D7. Standard development in this line. D1. Okay, D8. Knight to D2. Now black is ready to execute his standard break here. Pawn to D5. And if he can do that under favorable circumstances, he will have quite a good game. White went knight E4. So now this is starting to look like King's Indian with colors reversed. E7, protecting the G5 pawn. A5, pawn to F5. Knight back to D2. F to E8. Black is quite solid. Rook E1. We should mention that Gummi also plays the King's Indian, of course, with black, so he's quite experienced in these types of positions. Queen D7. Bit of maneuvering here, and then bishop F8. So he's going to protect the pawn with the bishop now. And now perhaps black is ready to increase the pressure on the D3 pawn. At some point, by moving this knight. Then we have this weak D3 pawn. So it looks solid for black. I think I would prefer the black pieces here. And it would be nice to see her bounce back in this tournament, and also because it's his birthday. Okay, Einar took with the king. Let's go to our last game, which is Helgi Ás against Bragi. So the last game is Gretarsson. Actually forgot to change the title of this game. It was Icelandic against Gretarsson, but the last game is Helgi Gretarsson against Bragi Þorfinnsson. Like so. So knight f3 once again by Helgi. Seeing lots of knight f3s this round. c6 and another Slav. e3, a6, signaling that black wants to play a Chepanenko Slav. White went b3, bishop g4. So development here is rather normal. h3, bishop takes f3, queen takes f3. Black usually doesn't mind exchanging this bishop because he puts all his pawns on light squares. So this other bishop will be good and will cooperate with those pawns, and the hope is that white's light squared bishop will have nothing to aim for. Now knight c5. Yeah, that's perhaps an interesting move. One idea is to just take on c4 and then go knight d3. This seems good for black. He can stay on this d3 square, play rook d8. And the other idea is if d4, then you jump with the knight into e4. And you have some active knights there. Still, yeah, this looks unusual. I haven't seen this idea before. So instead, white went with pawn b4, knight c2 e4, knight takes d3, and here a very interesting move by Bragi. He ignored the threat and he played e6. Yeah, and if white takes, bishop takes b4 check. We can't go to d1 because now we win the queen because of the discovery. Check is attack on the queen. So okay, white sees that, he goes q2, but still we take, and black's gonna regain the piece here with the better game, and just something like this, or maybe even queen d2, queen c3. It shouldn't really matter. So that was a cheeky move to get developed. e6, a3 to protect the pawn, knight d6. And now we need to do something to get this bishop out, because yeah, g7 is attacked, e4, and well, perhaps another interesting idea, pawn to d4. Closing this diagonal, and now we start moving the bishop, maybe e5 next move. If white takes, we take on c4, and now this guy is attacked. So something like this looks quite good for black. We can go back to e5 most likely, although there's queen d3. Well, probably queen e5, queen d3, bishop e7. There's no mate, and e4 is tapped. Yeah, and queen g4, and black can play g6, king c7. Should not be a problem. So after d4, black's actually, no, white's actually thinking right now. Let's jump back to board 1 where Einar actually made a move, but he's well down on the clock. He took with the king, which is not ideal, but on the other hand, the king isn't in any immediate danger. But this, yeah, this could be somewhat annoying for black. Still, we have this problem with the pin, so we can't take with jack because of this. So I couldn't be here, play queen e2, one pinning the knight. And now we have a threat on the b5 pawn. So 50 minutes against 26. And I think the only move here is a6, possibly knight c4, but a6 just looks more natural. Yeah, white has some initiative now that the king is in the center on d7. At some point in the game he might think about opening up with e4, but at the moment he's going to maneuver his rooks and see where he wants to place them. Maneuver. Have you seen this new maneuver? Aha! Okay, I lost my train of thought. So which game has some developments? Hannes Þröstur. Well, it's always nice when you write. And here, and let's actually fix. See? There's even proof on the board. Look at this. There's proof of my idea. That was nice. We accidentally have the same idea as a Grandmaster. But yeah, Stefansson Thorvaldsson. Here I thought he might expand at some point with f4 e5. And he actually wasted no time. He went f4. Boom, shaga laga. Black went knight b4. And now e5. Black answered with queen g6. And now we don't want the knight taking the bishop. So we have to move the bishop, so bishop e4 most likely, possibly to f3. Although no, f3 we can't do, we have to go e4. f3, there's knight c2. No, then we can go bishop e4 back. Okay, so bishop f4 or bishop e4. I have a feeling bishop e4 will be played. Lay back. By the way, to catch up to what's going on, I'll post a link for you of the 5th round report. If you're already watching this from the homepage, you can just see it on the front page. Although having said that, I didn't put it in the. I did not put it in the sliders. How are you? Til hamingju með daginn. Já, það ekki gengi alveg vel hjá. Snáða. Það er full. Jú, bara casual. Casual Thursday, skilur. Try to get to up down pairs. Some options. 258, 258. Very cool. Ja. Alltaf verið hær. Þrátt í 40 lit. G6. I played A3? What? I did think he would give up the knight for the... Give up the bishop for the knight. Also, there's no knight c2. Let me play bishop e4. I think we'll take. Maybe take with the queen. Attack this pawn, but then b6. I'm not sure. I'm not sure. Okay, take with the knight. Maybe more natural. At least we have a threat here. Yeah, maybe this is possible. That's what he wants to do. Yeah, note that rook e8 is not possible because knight e7 and it's gonna be checkmate. Okay, so let's move over to the birthday boy. Mr. Gretarsson. Hversu svít var skallinn hjá Ramos? So what are we looking at? We're looking at Gisla against Fedorov, which is around here. Yeah, bishop f8. And now we had bishop to e3, which the computer doesn't like. Computers tend to value the bishop pair, and Fedorov took on e3, grabbing the bishop pair. I think black must be for chose here. Okay, we just have to take care of. Well, that's not a problem. Maybe white wants to play rook here and attack this. And we certainly don't want to take on c4, unless we can take and play e4. That's possible, maybe. Yeah, we don't want to give up the light squares completely, but in general I don't like this exchange, but the only circumstance I would like it is if we play e4. But white can easily break up these pawns with f3, so kind of doubt to do that. Yeah, computer actually likes f4 trying to attack the d3 pawn. That actually doesn't look like a bad idea. What do we do after f4? If the rook moves back, then we'll take on d3. No, we can maybe take like this. Take on e5, so it's not completely clear. So that's not the idea directly. So maybe we can. I don't know, play something like g5, g4. Don't have to be so quiet. It's okay.
It's fine. How are the game going? There's some interesting position.
Yeah, yeah, it was interesting maybe.
Some sacrifices, some attacks. Very interesting the
Einar
opening choice.
probably blundered, yeah.
Because
And he's leading and plays the exchange Slav.
I think I played the same opening against Einar 1 year ago in Scouting Reykjavík 2013.
Exchange Slav.
Yes,
Yeah.
it's my favorite.
Yeah, I know you
weapon.
played it a lot, yeah.
And I remember, I think I almost got nothing out of the opening, just more or less equal position, but playable. I remember well, but then I managed to win with a very nice piece sacrifice. You know, you just sacrifice a piece and then you play h4, and then you're going to queen, h4, h5, h6. With the queens on the boards and the rooks and everything, you know. Very interesting position.
I'm trying to remember if I saw it.
The end of combination was like h4. It's opening for the king because some threats on the back rank.
Yeah.
Actually, it's queening the pawn.
Okay. Yeah, I think
With all the pieces on the board still, you know. This is really, really.
all the pieces on the board.
Yeah, with the queens and the rooks and. But for the piece sacrificed, I got the g and h pawns, and the king has moved, I think, to the center. Don't remember much of the position, but these are the highlights of it.
Yeah. But he plays the Slav. Almost always with black.
And it is an important win because then I was leading the tournament till the end.
Yeah, it was you, Einar Hjalti,
And Davik Kjartansson.
Davíð Kjartans, yeah.
Yeah, but okay. It was just one tournament in the big
Yeah, but it was a
connectivity.
good tournament because
Yeah.
you don't play much.
No, exactly. I think the first tournament since 2008.
So okay, he decided to open up immediately. I thought he might prepare it, but it was e4 right away.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was an interesting moment here where Kumi took a d7
he had
and
to take,
knight
or-
takes d7 and knight takes d5 as a possibility.
Yeah, okay.
And Einar spent a lot of time here, so maybe he was
But yeah, take on b2.
trying to assess this. Yeah, maybe okay, you can take a d7, but maybe knight c8 is possible here.
Then a6 is more or less forced.
Yeah.
Because of rook a1. Rook f1. Something like this.
Yeah, and now, yeah, maybe you rook fc1.
It's a4 a choice.
Yeah, of course, f1. Yeah, it just looks bad. I mean,
Yeah.
we have rook
Simply
fc1, threatening knight e6, we can take on e7, take the bishop pair, play a4.
Yeah, with this lead in development, I think white stands with greater chance to play for
Yeah,
and the bishop pair.
yeah. So I didn't fancy this top of the king. We need to 6 and e4. Right to,
What did he play? A6 here, and then E4.
yeah,
Okay.
it takes. And now, I'm just thinking. I mean,
The obvious knight
is
takes
there nothing?
E4.
Yeah.
Will it run into something or what? He's maybe afraid of knight D5, trying to put some blockade in the center until he plays rook HD8 or something. Taking the bishop. This tempo is very. I wouldn't take the
No, I
pawn
wouldn't
D4.
take it.
Rook FD1 will be just.
Yeah.
Okay, so rook HD8.
I just want to for the king
Exactly.
back.
I don't know. We say something like castling artificially.
Yeah, exactly.
Not naturally, but artificially.
Artificial.
Yeah, maybe black can try to hold here, huh? With the king.
Yeah.
Queen G4, maybe.
I mean,
Typical moves here.
Yeah, I mean, if the king was
F5.
already on G8 or F8, then black is
Then black is fine.
absolutely fine.
But Queen G4 maybe runs into F5, I don't know.
Yeah.
Queen G4, F5, so G7 doesn't have anything, huh?
No, it seems safe actually. Yeah.
Take, but the king will be, and I think in this position the king goes to B7. If you was in that,
Yeah.
probably will go to B7.
Yeah.
Okay. It doesn't look to be too bad, I think, for black,
No.
as it looks for the first sight.
What did I say? Okay, yeah. Very slight. You want to take
D
with the
takes
bishop?
yeah. That's why I think, yeah, and then trying to eliminate the defenders of D5.
Try to push D5.
Yeah.
Okay, that makes sense.
Yeah. This is more logical and more energetic, I think. He has to play energetically. Also, the knight on F6 is a great defender, protecting all the penetrations through H7 or something.
Yeah, now
And actually, it's a big threat. D5 now.
Yeah. We took with the bishop. Yeah.
Did he take with the bishop? Yeah. Okay, okay. So, I think black has to neglect, then simply complete his development. So. Have to be in the room for some time. Okay.
Rook HD8. Yeah, some problems with black, but maybe he can survive here. Yeah, this was, by the way, Omar Salama. He is international arbiter, in charge of most of the tournaments now in Iceland. Reykjavik Open. This one will be going to Tromsø for the Olympiad. Tromsø? Ja, heia hoppa heia, gå til Norway. Tromsø spiller i sjakk og I don't know Norwegian. That's just my Norwegian accent. So let's do accents, how about that? So next game we're gonna, yeah, you have to vote for an accent. 1-800, vote for an accent. So give me an accent in the Twitch chat. Okay, Einar. And I speak with a Danish voice. If Einar took on e4 with knight, took on e4, but Kumi took back with the queen. Queen took e4. No. All of a sudden that went a bit to Asia. But when Danish people speak the English language, speak like this. I'm just gonna offend all of Europe. Oui, okay, but what is this for what? What is this? D5, maybe push D5 could move, yeah. King and center, yes. So, French, turned Russian, midway accent. I can't do accents. I suck. So okay, maybe some small chances here for white based on black's king possession, but if black can play here rook a8, for instance, and plays king back, well, there's also this problem though. But in theory, if he could castle artificially and put his king on g8, he should be just about fine. But for now, some problems to take care of. And okay, he goes for pawn to g5. Very aggressive. Now, if bishop g3, we can actually think about winning a piece with f5. I don't know where the queen goes, but we play f4 either way. Win this piece, so bishop can't go there. Possibly can go to e3. And I don't know, just playing around. Can we do something violent? Maybe even d5 here. Nah, it's maybe too much. Might be too much. Just playing around with some moves here. Probably it's good for white though, but yeah, I'm not sure. This is probably nothing. But g5 and white to move. Yeah, this move is very well. What's a good word for it? Well, it's aggressive, but the word I was looking for is committal. Yeah, it's a highly committal move. So I'll close the window, man. It's a bit cold. Yeah, black is burning some bridges with his move. Let's do this. Definitely burning some bridges and weakening his position, and perhaps there will be no good shelter for the king, but we'll see. We spent a lot of time on this game. I actually want to have a look at. Well, let's have a quick look at Hannes Thurston, because I want to see how it took. It didn't take after a3. Trusted Hannes' judgment, which is usually a good idea. In knight c6, knight jumped into e4, bishop to g4, and queen to d2. And that's how things stand. Okay, quiet at the moment, but I really wanted to look at is this one, Danielsen Stengungsson, an important game. So let's put their names onto this board. Stengrimsson. Jeden Stengrimsson. It barely fit, so let's yeah. Whatever, you get the idea. Do we have some moves here? Not a lot, but some. Again, this one rather important. Okay, so lost my train of thought. Seems to be the theme for today. King g8. H3. Not a very common move, perhaps, in this structure, but maybe maybe Henrik was slightly worried about some g4 move. I mean, if it's black to move, okay. Actually, instead of king g8, if g4, queen takes, there's knight somewhere. It just takes on e3. But why didn't he play it immediately? I don't know. He played king g8. Was it possible to play g4? I don't know, maybe. Okay, king g8, now he played h3. And that's the only logical explanation really for this move, to prevent any g4 ideas. Queen knight to e7. Trying to free the bishop from defense of the b7 pawn. Rook b6. So now the bishop moves, he wants to come to f7. And then start to push the kingside pawns. That's what happened. King h2, bishop f7. Now the queen d1. The king went back to h8. So quite unusual. We have 3 moves with the king already on move 24. And yeah, actually these moves don't make huge sense to me, but especially the king g8. Okay, king h8, could be useful, but why did he go back to g8? That's probably too deep for us to try to figure out in this broadcast, and I will not attempt to do so. Yeah, I agree. That black king, king h8, king g8, king h8. So finally, king h8. So will this be the last move? The last stand by the black king in theaters this fall. Uh-oh. King h8, this is how things stand. Yeah, rather quiet maneuvering here. Let's try and find the game where something's happening actually. And that's probably the birthday boy. This summer, one man, one birthday. He did play f4. Good for Hirvar. White took on c6. c6. Good for Hirvar. B takes c6. Rook takes on e5. Aha. Possibly black can get a substantial advantage here. Just take on c4. e8, bishop takes b3. Bishop pair. Okay, the structure is a bit wrecked, but bishop pair, man. That's where it's at. And we have a weakness on this diagonal. We can't trap the bishop. Well, okay, actually maybe we can think about it. Because there's not this, but this. So this might be possible. I didn't think it would be dangerous. Dangerous! But no, probably not. Queen d4. And whenever we move the queen, like queen c1, then bishop takes d3. Queen e2, bishop here, but then queen d1. So slightly tricky. Slightly tricky. Oh no, of course it takes b2. That was my original idea. That's why I wanted to play queen c1 first, and then I forgot. But now we take on b2, and it seems this is quite okay for black. So this is what Hero is currently thinking about. Bishop takes c4, when it seems like we should get this position almost by force. And the question is how to assess it. Okay, white has one pawn and black has a double pawn there on the c file, but I like the bishops. I like them. Yeah, I don't think white should be especially thrilled about this position. Yeah. So Hero probably doing good here, and let's see what happens in the next few moves. So actually, like yesterday, I'm gonna take a break now, so we're slightly more fresh and ready for the time travel, which should be well, 20-30 minutes, then time travel should start to appear. But yeah, 5-10 minutes. Okay, it says 10-15, but let's make it 5-10. Just gonna have a quick bite, then come back. luck. Say and vill þú ofta?
Nei, pappi, þú varst ekki þarna. Við varum með töfnum og ég var.
Nei pappi, þú varst í... Það lag, það sem maður heyrir eftir.
Vonandi bara það.
Æja. This is not okay. What's going on? Let's go to Grettersson og Þorþórsson. Úrbæðin. So this one we haven't looked at for a while. Helgi Grettersson, Bragi Þorfinnsson. And that's here, I believe, after d4. That's where we left off. We have a number of moves. e5, attacking the knight. Knight f5, protecting the pawn. Queen e4, e4, a5, and looks good for black actually. b5.
Hello. Velkomin. Velkomin í sett.
C takes b5.
Já, Sigurður okkar Steindarsson með Magic orkudrykk.
No. Cirka svona eitthvað. 3 second moves, okay. e4, knight h4. Do not speak with full mun. With your mouth full, yes. Knight h4.
Full mouth.
That's what she said. She takes b5. a4. Do you like that? I'm not sure. Whoa. 3 second move.
Ánægður með reportið að tekka það.
Já, það er gott.
Ég náði ekki að fylgjast með þessu í gerð.
Hvað?
Þannig að það var ekki snilt að fá þetta svona.
Ég er alltaf lengi að þessu.
Nei, trú því. Það er ekkert smá langt.
Ég þarf að kíkja yfir þetta, sjá hverju like það ekki. Henda þeim út á Facebook. Queen takes b7. Seems like...
Það er bara ekki einfalt að halda. Eins og kemur þér. Það er svo ekki b átt að það. Það er átt og fyrir. Er leikur okkur tíða?
Ég skilja ekkert í þetta sko.
Nei, þú finnir bara að vera einhver ég. Við íslenski Magnús Karlsson. Já,
Svo
það er það sko. Það er tvö saman núna alltaf.
Upp í 1.
Já, menn fara að vera hrættir við það.
Já, svo fer hann bara í, upphitta bara í slappa núna bara. Já, ég sé þetta bara átt í.
Hvernig er það núna? Er hann ekki með bara betra?
Jú.
Hvernig er það?
Good job. Queen here, queen b7.
Ertu með það?
Queen takes, king takes, bishop e2. Rook takes b5. 5. Bishop takes d4. Rook d5. Seems like white has... No, I didn't play rook d5. Sorry.
Já, ok.
Took an a3. Took an a3. In the criminal justice system, the people are represented by... Yeah, and the idea is Czechoslovakia here, We don't want to lose the rook, so here, check, and yeah, and check on d4. So that should be okay for black, I think. But yeah, still. This might be okay for black. Castles, okay.
Já, reyndar lítur svolítið vel út, sko. Þú getur þau.
Which game are you looking at?
Gummi inn á Hjalti.
Gummi, okay.
Það verðist að hafa ofta meiri kill ef það sé þetta leik.
Gummi. Kjartansson. Gummi, Kjartans. Gummi. Do you know Gummi?
Það er svona að passa sig að dósa svo mikið á mikið og Óli getur bara dáið og stoltið.
Óli eftir annað? Þetta Gummi bara bestir.
Óli veifaði þetta hana.
Saka, Gummi bara taka þetta. Það er bestir. Býtum við. Okay, let's catch up. What's going on? G5. Bishop e3, which yeah, thought was logical, you know. Ideas of d5 was to cover the attack on the queen. f5, queen d3, no, queen d3. We have this threat of d5, so queen d6, but still we played d5. Yeah, black king is starting to feel a little bit uncomfortable there in the center of the board. Gets d8, bishop d4.
Ég skil ekki alveg það leik.
Nei, okay, whoa. Yeah, instead of bishop d4, maybe he had some really strong moves, like rook a2 e1.
Já, nú getur eiginlega ekkert valda hana í þessu seti.
Yeah, it's hard to move here.
Kom fyrir að þú bishop d4.
Not bishop d4. Yeah, it's... Ugh.
Reyndar.
I mean, yeah, I mean what to do here. This is a very annoying pin on the e file. So maybe okay after bishop d4 and knight b3. Maybe rook e1 now. Okay, computer says actually better to take on e6 now.
Okay.
Which, well, okay, if king here, then we take here, and there's of course mate. On king c7, knight takes b5.
Yeah.
Shaky. Or wait a minute. Can we do this? Just sacrifice everything? Just checking. You see. And yeah, so but check. Czechoslovakia mod. That would be quite cool.
Nei, þetta lítur hann á.
Hann getur leikið P1 líka á hann.
En ef hann dreipur við sér með kom. Bara ská okkur dreipur á F5 og búið.
Yeah, I keep it this one, and well, anywhere, Czechoslovakia. Yeah, it's
Ef hann drefur ekki þá þetta nú...
Yeah, it says king c6 might be the only move, so no, there's not this knight b5 idea.
Kannski Rókur sé eitt samt.
Wow. Þá kannski hægt að taka á... Nei. Jú, nei. It's tricky.
Já, skáka. Bara vera hérna.
Okay, so Gummi is thinking about it. Thinking about it. D takes e6 looks good. Rook e1 also. Looks good as well, probably. Okay, so do we have any interesting developments? We might have interesting developments in this game. Stefansson Þórhallsson. Stefansson Þórhallsson. Frölle með hana?
Aha.
1992, 22. We had rook b to d8, knight to d6, knight to d4. Yeah, this position I saw when I was walking in the hall after queen f2.
Still okay.
e6. Rook 8 to e1. Looks good for white, but queen h5. And maybe bishop e2 is a threat. Played rook e3. Oh my god. Queen h5 at the head of threat, which Hannes overlooked. Oh my god. That's the thing. He's really good. Okay, queen h5 looks like this is a threat. But the big threat is really take on d6 and then take d5.
Yeah.
So this happened, and yeah, just two pieces for a rook for black, and that's much better for black. Also, we have a great knight on d4. So now it's just a question if Hannes can hold on and not lose. So this means, yeah, great chance to pull away for Danielsen and Kjartansson. Maybe. Well, the game between Henrik and Héðinn was rather quiet. Doesn't seem like much has changed. So we'll look at that later. I mean, nothing really going on there. Hjörvar seems to have messed up on his birthday.
Too much cake?
There's never too much cake. Hjörvar.
Hver er Misha?
Misha? Hann er vel. Hann er vel. Gíslason. This is Hjörvar Gretarsson. We have two Gretarsons. Actually, two Gretarsson H. So if you search the database for Gretarsson H, you might find you're confused. After rook takes e5, Hjörvar could have just taken on c4. Rook takes e8, then you take on b3. This looks absolutely forced when you get the two bishops. I think only black can win. And I was trying to, okay, maybe can white try and trap the bishop? I don't think he can. Bishop c2. And then queen d4 seems to have things under control.
Rook c3.
Rook c3. Okay, yeah, I didn't see that move. And bishop a4 b3. Yeah, something like this maybe. Yeah. Yeah, okay, so maybe okay, this looks forced, and then c4. Yeah, I mean if the bishop is not trapped, then this is good for black. So this is the only try. It may be queen d4 immediately. Yeah. Yeah, that's the way to do it. Then bishop c2, and it should be okay.
Samt, drottning G2.
e2. Yeah, okay, and the other variation I could take on b2 here, but no I can't. Maybe is f3 working?
Þessi skáku
Yeah,
eisar.
but yeah, then there's... Well, king should be safe on h7 with bishop g7. Maybe we don't want to.
Ég get allavega fengið nokkuð peð.
Yeah. So maybe it in there, but still probably should have done that since took on d3, and that actually doesn't look very convincing. Takes e8, bishop takes e8, knight e5. Now white has a much better pawn structure here. Takes on f4, b8, d2, rook takes b2, knight c4. But this, I'm not sure. It's a weird position. I mean, both sides are horrible pawns. 3 pawn islands for black, 4 for white, and the bishop here against the pair of knights. But the knights actually control a lot of squares. So rook d1, okay. Yeah, now we can't take on c3 because rook d8. Bishop f7, but now white not getting a good knight against that bishop maybe, but probably not. Probably the king and the knight will be that bishop will be okay. Yeah,
Ég myndi vilja vera með svart í þessu.
yeah, I'm just wondering if black can get the c pawn, and maybe pass pawn could be dangerous. So probably white should preserve that pawn. Yeah. At first I thought this looked bad, but maybe this is quite okay. If knight takes, probably just bishop d6.
Ekki G7.
Yeah, or even d7, yeah, that's correct. Correcto mundo. Yeah, it's probably better just to attack this pawn. We're gonna win it now by force. c4 or c3. Yeah, I think white can't lose this pawn, and then all of a sudden black's pieces are quite good in supporting the c pawn. So probably c4 is the best move. Yeah, maybe this is...
Bishop D6.
No. Bishop d6. I guess we take and then rook c3. Similar to the variation before. Oh, it's f5, okay, yeah. So maybe not a great square for the bishop.
Bishop C7.
Something like this. King here, knight d7. It's also d7.
Ska vi get från det?
Rook d7 anyway. Yeah, let's take it. I mean, a bunch of pawns gonna drop off. So here they have to calculate and then, you know, make a count at the end. 1, 2, 3, 3 pawns. 3. So most likely C4. Yeah. Henrik. Very slow maneuvering game for Henrik. After king h8, I moved 24 when he moved his king for the third time. Actually, fourth time if you count castling. 91. Bishop e6. Bishop c1. Some massive regrouping of the pieces. So white wants to use the bishop to protect this pawn instead of the knight. Wants to put the knight somewhere else. Queen b7. Queen e2. Knight f2 e7. Yeah, it seems like we're all, only having piece play here. Queen b2, rook b8. Everything attacking b7, everything defending it. So we haven't had any pawn moves for quite a while. Knight f3. Knight c8, kicking away the rook. It's going to b5 and now b6. Okay, at least now the pawn is being protected by a knight. So now white can, black can think about his rooks over to the king side and start attacking. Yeah. Computer still says slightly better for white, but seems rather around equal to me. But yeah, still rather slow developments in this game. Some developments in Kjartansson's game seems like he might not have made as much out of his advantage as he could.
Við ætlum ekki bara að sviða nýja þetta tefnilega.
Or maybe he wants to win in 80 moves instead of 30. Well, let's have a look. Let's have a look.
Bishop d4 var ekki.
Yeah. Instead of bishop d4, he was close to winning with rook e1. So we left it, after knight b3, 23. We did play rook a to e1. Here d takes e6 was the best move. It looked very promising. Einar took on d4. Trying to reduce the pieces that are attacking. e5. Trying to keep lines closed, sacrificing a pawn, and Grimmy took it. Bishop takes a3, actually regaining a pawn. Knight d1, but now white gets the f5 pawn.
Já, við erum þetta. Rook e6.
Okay, the computer liked rook to e6. When we have a choice of taking the a pawn or the h pawn. But after rook takes f5, they follow the rook c2. So white is up a pawn, but maybe rook c2 is not the best. Should have gone rook f8, yeah. I mean, it's easy to just see the best computer move. I mean, rook c2 looks natural. Try and get an active rook, put it on maybe d2. You know, you're attacking this pawn, maybe put it on d2, attack this pawn, and then you're tying this knight down to the defense of the b2 pawn. Now White should play rook f7, pinning the bishop. When rook e1 might follow. Let's see, play more like this, and this could be annoying. Knight e3, maybe even knight c3. I'm wondering what's on. Yeah, I'm not sure which one is better. Kim is thinking. He has 13 minutes left after rook c2. Einar has 8 minutes. Leikogressu. Played rook f7. Yeah, I mean, given his track record in the last 2 rounds, should we just predict that Gumi will win here? He's been playing the endgame quite well. He's losing games. So Hannes thirsty, and it looks like Hannes just...
Eitthvað að koma tilbaka.
Yeah, but that was clumsy blunder. So he took an f7. He's trying to get a pawn for the lost material. He takes d6, d5, rook e7. Black got rid of this pass d pawn, but I have to give up the a pawn, h5, and rook e1. Rook e1. Wondering what happens if we take on f4. Is that too dangerous? No, doesn't seem to be. Probably taking with the rook might be better. But after this, yeah, knight f5 should hold things together. And there's also knight e2, of course, which does more than hold things together. It ends the game immediately. So maybe he couldn't really do anything about the pawn. I mean, knight e2 was also a threat. And g3, I mean, can't we even... Horrible. It's horrible, this idea. It would be this mat with these different conclusions that you could jump to. Oh, horrible this idea. So, rook e1. Thrust to move. Ooh, yeah.
Freistandi að taka bara með drótning.
It looks very tempting because it looks forced for white to take, and then there's no threat to rook e7 because of knight e2. So maybe white starts with h3.
You triple.
Take on a3, yeah.
Yeah, okay.
That's rook e8 check. Yeah, the idea was knight f3, but yeah. Well, here we might just, you know, close the rook out, not allowed to go to e7. This looks like it should be absolutely fine for black. Maybe, well, it's clear that only black can win here. Only black can think about winning. What's the time? They have 7, yeah, about 8 minutes each. I think I would take with the queen just to have a more simplified position that I can't lose. What's the time taking down? So do we have any? Let's see what happened in Gretarson's game. No, it's not this one. It's this one. E6, C4. It's indeed played. And here I played G5. Knight takes C6. G takes F4. Knight takes A7. Rook A3. Knight C6. Rook A4 and King G2. So white is up a pawn. And oh, clearly black can't think about winning here. Rook takes c4, there's a6. Rook back, there's a7. Then we play rook d8 and queen the pawn. So this black can't do. Yeah, so it looks like Hero might possibly lose his third game in a row here, which would be quite horrendous, and he might actually start to regret his decision of taking on d3 when he could have maybe gone for the bishop here against the rook. And yeah, I mean, if he loses this, he'll be really upset, especially since he had quite a good position out of the opening. So that would be a horrible result for him. King d2, rook a3. Yeah, doesn't look too great for Hjörvar. Potentially could lose his third game in a row. Helgi Ás and Bragi, they already, well, let's not spoil it. We have a decisive result after the move. 24 castles. It was rook b3, bishop d1, rook takes d3. Okay, he wants to take on a4, but then we have only pawns on the king side. King c7, rook f2, c1. trying to understand this. If maybe he doesn't have a choice. I mean, well, no, yeah. If we move the bishop, then we take the e5 pawn, perhaps. And he can't protect it, of course, because we take on. Well, there's also b2, of course. No, knight f3. Yeah, I guess with a knight, only black can think about winning here, although it's just should be a draw. Draw. So you want rook fc1, which might force the perpetual. Let's see, rook takes, king b8, and they just repeat it here. So the question is, if we go here, then we have check, king e7. Maybe he was just attracted to. Well, do we have something more here with rook c7? Maybe, yeah. Rook c7 probably wins. So we can't go to the d file, but if we go to well, we can't go to the corner either because checkmate. So a nice perpetual idea, and you can never advance with the king because the bishops can't go to the sixth rank. You could go to well, you could go to a6, but that doesn't look very good.
Skákar ekki bara CS kannski?
That's stronger.
Já. Ekki? Eða hvað?
I'm not sure. Okay, if white wants to draw, he can just check on b1, king a, and king a6 is impossible because of bishop b5. But there might be something better even, but let's see if rook takes c1, yeah. Computer says 0.00, so we're gonna trust the comp. Trust the comp. So I'll draw here, Helgi Ás and Bragi Þorfinnsson. Let's have a look at this ultra maneuvering game.